I can't emphasize enough. Whether it's in a survival situation or a hunting situation, determination is an extremely good quality to have, because it's not like the video games. I know these are for purpose, and it's not like the movies. A, I don't really think this guy knows what he's shooting at. Secondly, the ability for that bullet to track that far of a distance without drop, but he got a sick of deer. Dog's happy. Little bagel, happy. Hey everybody, it's Tim Spike Davis with Gamology, and today I'm going to be reacting to Hunting Simulator 2. So I hope you guys join me. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So we got a person here. It looks like they're in a barn, checking out their gear, their environment. They got an old barn here. Got himself a little ladder, stepping out into the woods. That's some rough living. Don't know if this person's just going on a stroll or what type of weapon they have or what they're looking for, but it is a beautiful walk. Looking at some flowers here. I am not a botanist, so I do not know what he is. He's looking at some tracks. Yep, so he's got cloven hooves there. It looks like either a mule deer or white-tailed deer.
The fabled white-tailed deer, a classic.
So he's going after white-tailed deer. He's trying to discern these tracks to see which direction they're going. It looks like they're going towards the top of the screen. So away from him, yep, in that direction. You can tell that by the fatter part of the cloven hoof is in the back, and the forward part is in the tip, narrow part. Back to his place. Oh yeah, this just seems very real. Okay, he's got himself a rifle. More than likely a 30-06 or a 270. And yeah, this seems very authentic and real. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of there because it's just beautifully well done. Executed. Got his beagle with him. Probably not really sure you want a beagle when you're going on. You might want a beagle when you're tracking after you've shot the animal. But usually having dogs with you while you're hunting a deer, they like to make noise, and deer are very sensitive to that kind of thing. I wonder if he's already got this deer, if he's tracking it. You could use beagle to track, but once you get close enough, deer is got great sense of hearing, great sense of smell. You know, he's bringing the beagle with him. So beagles have traditionally been used for hunting rabbits, small game, but you can use them as tracking dogs for when you've actually shot a deer and you want them to get on the trail to locate it. But taking one actively hunting would be new to me, unless this dog is really well trained to be very still and silent when he's on the game. Like I said, it would be a game changer as far as not on a positive level having a dog along with you. You want to be as quiet and stealthy as possible. But once I'd actually shot the deer, I'd go back and get the dog in a heartbeat, bring him along and find that animal. The other problem with that is your dog's running ahead of you. Good chance you might accidentally pop him too, so you always gotta be careful, especially when shooting a firearm like that down the scope. But he's on the trail. He's got some beautiful flowers there. They're going through the brush. I'm assuming this dog is gonna bust this white-tailed deer and this guy's gonna shoot it. If this is the way the game goes, I'm not sure that's the best way to go white-tailed deer hunting. A lot of guys do that for pheasant and other upland game birds. They'll use a dog to flush out game. They call them flushers. I have yet to hear somebody do that with white-tailed deer, but again, I haven't heard it all, so I might be new to me. Might be getting educated here. They will use dogs to run deer, which is looked in certain parts of this country down upon, and other parts of the country is a great way to get a quick meal. Again, the scenery is beautiful. That whoever created this game really took time and attention to making the scenery beautiful. I feel like I'm actually out here in the woods. Look, that guy just scoped in a elevated blind, so I'm wondering if he's going to go to this blind and sit there with his dog. Yeah, no, this is beautiful. The type of rifle he's using, again, I can't really tell the caliber just from looking at the outside of the rifle, but very well depicted. He is going to, he's probably yelling at his dog to get over here. And now, if he doesn't get his dog up in that blind, his dog's gonna, I don't know how he's gonna get his dog up in that blind. Hunting from the elevated blind is really a good idea because it allows you to be, you're set to be up higher, allows you to have a better field of view. Generally, most white-tailed deer are looking at the ground for their source of any threats, but yeah, it's got a white-tailed deer walking across the field there. It looks like about 150, 200 yards. A little misty there, so you're going to want to make sure through your scope what you're shooting at. That's, if he takes a shot now, it'd be a little iffy, because a lot of times through that kind of low clarity, you shoot at something. Oh, he shot at it. Could be a neighbor's dog or a cow or a lot of other animals that big. So you always want to know what you're shooting at. You know, obviously he's probably seeing better through that scope than I am seeing the screen, and you want a 100% identification on what animal he's shooting at. That was a long shot for not 100% in my opinion identification, but we're gonna see what he shot. Again, for me, like I've been in so many situations where I've had to just hold back on a shot because I wasn't 100%. Making an error on that is you can't get it back when you're shooting a firearm like that. You shoot a neighbor's dog or their cow or somebody, your life has changed. I would always encourage people who are using firearms to always know 100% what you are shooting at. You can't take that bullet back once it leaves your rifle. But as far as the scenery, this is amazing. And he's got himself a dog here who's blood trailing. See, this is what that beagle's designed for right there, is to find that blood trail. Generally, if you're shooting a 30-06 or a 270 like that, you shoulder shoot that deer, he ain't going far. I mean, if you use the right caliber and the right bullet placement, sometimes those deer will drop right where they're standing. For the game here, they're having him track it. He finds the deer. It is a mature white-tailed buck. Yes, very good. Dog's happy. He's wagging his tail. Shot him in the lungs. That's probably why he ran so far. The deer could run a long distance being shot and lose a lot of blood. They're very tough animals. Now he's got to haul that puppy back. Unless he's got a car or ATV or some type of vehicle, well, he's going to hoof it. Another thing you have to always be careful about when leaving your game like that is that other predators in the woods have smelled that deer. They've heard that gun go off. And certain animals like bears, mountain lions, wolves, they actually get used to the fact that when they hear a gun go off, they know there's a food source now. Somebody has shot a deer and they're going to come in, and there's been actually documented lots of certain situations where hunters have been attacked by bear or mountain lions after they're killed because the animal got so conditioned to the fact that it was a free meal. So always watch your six when you're gutting your deer out in the woods where you got bears or cougars, wolves. They will want to come and get that meal. Yeah, no, this looked like a white-tailed deer. It looked good. And like I said, the rifle looked good. The little video's a beagle, and I think graphics wise it's amazing video, and it's really actually a very accurate hunting scenario, probably one of the closest ones I've seen in a while. So when you're going to different states, and different states vary for each ones, but you have to get a general hunting license, and then you also have to get tags for different species of animals. So to get a tag for white-tailed deer or bears, mountain lions, part of that's conservation, where they're actually keeping an idea on numbers. And so where areas where they have plenty of white-tailed deer, like Wisconsin and Illinois, they give out a lot of tags. In Illinois here, we have very little bobcats. So they give out a very limited amount of bobcat tags. And if you get caught with a bobcat and not a tag, it's a big fine. I believe it's even some jail time. So he's got his tags for, I didn't catch what he was going after, but we'll see in a bit. He's got his faithful beagle with him, and they're going to go out. Got a different rifle. You can tell because the stock isn't wood. The previous one stock was wood. So he has changed his game here. He's got go through some tall grass. Beagle's leading the way. Again, some of these video games are so realistic now. It's like you feel like you're right there. I'm out hunting. Very impressed with the visuals. Oh, I see in the right-hand corner it says he's got tags for a gray wolf. So if this video game goes on for the next 6 months, that'd probably be really accurate because it's not as simple as just walking into the woods and shooting a gray wolf. They are the apex predator in North America. They are very difficult to get. I know people who've spent a lot of money spending hours and hours and hours of time trying to get their first wolf. Sometimes people have this misconception. You just get out of your truck, walk a few yards, and popping wolves, and it's not the truth. But he's got his beagle. Now, that's another problem, too, with these areas, though. What most people don't realize is like wolves and coyotes look at domesticated dogs as a threat. They do not like domesticated dogs. And I've had a friend of mine who's lost I don't know how many beagles rabbit hunting to coyotes. The beagle's out running around trying to find that rabbit scent, and that beagle will accidentally come across a pack of coyotes, and that beagle doesn't have a prayer against 5-6 coyotes. So they will kill that beagle very quickly. So that guy better keep a short leash on his dog, because the wolves get a hold of him, he's going to be a fun-sized meal for them. One of the things that with technology is there's a lot of advancements. Most real hunters know that the amount of technology that they are putting out right now does not overcompensate for good woodsmanship, good practice. Like I've borrowed, they're not mine, but I've shot $7,000 rifles with like $3,000 scopes on them, and way out of my budget, and I still missed. So and I've also shot cheap rifles and cheap scopes and made amazing shots. So technology has a lot of amazing advancements. It really doesn't compensate. These are animals that have been being hunted by other animals that are better at hunting than us for thousands and thousands of years. There are people who will think there's like a technological advantage, and there may be at some point in times where in a curve there might be something that gives you a higher advantage, but eventually those animals figure out pretty quickly what's going on. I mean, one of the most amazing technologies advancements in the last probably 20 years for hunting has been night hunting with thermal scopes. Pitch black, you're hunting, and you're only allowed to hunt certain animals. So like I've gone coyote hunting, middle of the night, pitch black, and I thought I would be stacking coyotes up like the back of my car would just be full. Coyotes are smart. Even though it's pitch black, there's times I've gone out hunted all night long not seeing a single coyote. So all that technology didn't help me. I have to learn to be a better woodsman, have to learn what their activity is, what they're going after. He got something here. So basically when you're hunting different animals, you have to know what type of caliber is the size of bullet. So the diameter of the bullet and the length and the weight. So he just shot a bear here and he brain shot it. You're going to want to make sure you have the right type of gun. Especially if you're bear hunting, you want something that's got a heavy enough bullet. That skull on a bear is thick and heavy. You shoot a small diameter, a lightweight bullet, it's just going to skip right off that bear's skull, and it's either going to really enrage him and he'll come and kill you, or he'll be injured and die somewhere. The point of hunting is to get the animal, not to just wound and kill animals. It's to procure food and hides, and you want to make sure you have the right tool for the right job. So when I go coyote hunting and there's a much smaller animal than a bear, I'm using a smaller caliber rifle that shoots flatter, longer distances. If I were going with bear, I would go up to a way bigger caliber bullet with a heavier amount of pressure or the powder load, because I have to punch through a lot more meat and muscle and bone to get that to humanely dispatch that animal. You can wound animals all day long with small calibers, but if you do that, you're a douchebag. So and that's a controversy in the hunting world, as far as like certain people like to use lower calibers as a challenge, and I don't find that at all ethical. Again, with a dog busting through the brush like that, it's great for the smell and trying to locate an animal, but that dog's making noise. Now, he's got something going through the brush here. Again, these are shots that are iffy because that animal's only presenting a very small shot, and you don't know what that. There are times where a lot of animals can look like the very same type, and so you might be thinking you're shooting at a coyote and you end up shooting a deer, or you end up, and that matters greatly because ethically it matters. Now, he got his gray wolf. That's fine. Headshot that because that grass was so high. But to be honest, there's certain parts of the country you take that shot and you may have shot somebody's husky. That wolf looks a lot like a husky, and you're gonna have a lawsuit on your hands. So again, taking those long distance brush shots, you always want to be super careful with what you're once you pull that trigger. Like I said, you can't take that bullet back, so that's different. Sometimes you just feel the zone, you feel like you got it, and I've sat from sunrise to sunset all day and not got anything, but felt like I was on something. And there's other days within an hour or two just not getting the vibe, just not feeling like I'm in it. I go, yeah, this ain't happening today. Whether it's weather, wind patterns, and he's taking a run shot on something, and I'm not sure. Try to look and see what he's sick of deer. Now that is an iffy shot with a deer running away from you, because the number one area you're gonna hit is their butt cheeks, and that's a lot of meat. And that's a far unethical distance to shoot at an animal like that. But this is a video game. And there's times last night I sat for 3 hours hunting rats and nothing showed up. But other nights I've sat down and 10 minutes later they were there, and depends how determined you are. I mean, I hunted coyotes for 6 years before I got my first coyote. 6 years solid trying to get a coyote. That's how smart they are, or how stupid I am. You were talking earlier about what are some good qualities to have. Determination. I can't emphasize enough. Whether it's in a survival situation or a hunting situation, determination is an extremely good quality to have, because it's not like the video games. I know these are for purpose, and it's not like the movies. It's a lot of sitting and waiting, asking yourself, what on earth are you doing? Now, these are some very far shots, and the problem with these far shots like this, there's so many problems with these far shots is, I don't really think this guy knows what he's shooting at. Secondly, the ability for that bullet to track that far of a distance without drop, wind blowing it out of the direction. And then the third big problem with that is, do you know what's behind that animal when you miss? There could be be somebody camping behind that deer and you just throw a bunch of lead down range, someone's house. I mean, I know we're out in the middle of nowhere here, but so for me, I'm always a big proponent of closer shot are better. You know what the animal is, you know what is behind it. You know, seeing these long shots are impressive in the sense of like people thinking they're hot stuff because they can shoot an animal at some far distance, but the variables of things that could go wrong are way higher than the reward to me. So they don't outweigh the reward. And those are things, again, like I think that when people who play video games, if this is what you enjoy, that's fine. You're not hurting anybody on a video game. But taking this out in the real world, I would strongly suggest not making super long shots like that or ones in tall grass, because you really don't know what you're shooting at. And the variables start to rise up of bad deals. Now this guy's, I don't know if he's still blood trailing or analyzing or what he's doing, but he's walking through now, getting some dark stuff. Start losing your light. It's probably a good time to have your beagle, because walking around tracking, says he's got a sick deer. So again, these are, I mean, even for video gaming, I'm not sure how this is pleasant, because he is so far off in the distance, you're not even actually seeing what you're shooting at. And yep, unethical hunt, too many shots fired. I don't know how unethical it is so much as just a waste of good ammo. Well, man, that stuff's expensive. Man, it's worse than eggs. But he got a sick deer. Dog's happy. Little beagle happy. The graphics are great, amazing. My only probably big complaint about that is the long distance shots. I just felt like who had played this game as thinking this was a real deal, I would say, don't ever take a shot that far away. You don't know what it is. Coyotes and deer can sometimes look very similar. Someone's dog. There's people who get shot every year because somebody mistook them for an animal. You want to make sure what you're shooting at. Again, you can't take that stuff back once you pull the trigger. Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching me to react to Hunting Simulator 2. If you guys want to watch more Gamology, check them out on YouTube, Facebook. If you want to know more about me, Tim Spike Davis, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, or Tim Spike Davis 5 at TikTok.